Hi, I'm Adrian Warnock, and I'd like to draw to the close this little selection of John Newton writings I've been sharing this week. Um, between you and me and these four walls, it's just us talking. Part of the reason I did this is because these are all containing quotes that we actually referred to in an interview I did with Keith Plummer, who is one of the top sort of Newton experts, really, in a way, because he's read everything he wrote. And we had a wonderful time talking, and some of the quotes we referred to I already knew about. A couple of them I've sort of dug into, and it's led to this little series. And really the heart of this series has been this idea that John Newton wasn't some great, mature or perfect Christian. And I think as Christians today, we have a terrible, terrible habit of putting people on pedestals. And we imagine that particularly some of the great pastors, either of the past or today, were somehow on a different plane to the rest of us in all kinds of ways, not subject to the same weaknesses and temptations and even sins that we are. And yet they are human, not a superhero. And there are some people I know whose accomplishments walking with the Lord, working with the Lord, are so substantial that we just imagine that they are in this different league to us. One of my favorite Bible verses actually reassures us that even one of the greatest prophets was just as human as you and I. You see, be encouraged. The same God can and will help you and me as help these other people. Listen to this verse, James 5:17. This is read in the New Living Translation. Elijah was as human as we are. And yet when he prayed earnestly that no rain would fall, none fell for 3.5 years. So you see, when we see remarkable things, we are meant to understand that it was a remarkable God that accomplished these things, and that the human being that asked for them is just like you and me. And as we see here, John Newton had a similar honesty, which is one of the things I love about him. He's honest, but he is also full of hope. So here's the last of this little mini-series of his letters, actually. Most of these have come from letters. I think all of them have come from letters. I find vanity engraved in capital letters on myself and everything around me. I'm surrounded by mercies and so completely satisfied with my outward condition that I could hardly wish a single circumstance changed. Yet I feel emptiness, and so I sigh and groan. If you think by my writing in this way that I am very spiritual, you're greatly mistaken. But I can say that I want to be. My preaching seems, in some respects, contrary to my experience. The 2 points on which I most strongly insist are the glories of the Redeemer and the happiness of a life in communion with God. I often find something to say on these subjects in the pulpit, but at other times, my thoughts of Jesus are so low, disjointed, and interrupted that it seems as if I knew nothing of him except what I've heard with my ears. The reason for this is my conscious experience of communion with him. Alas, how weak, how infrequent. I approach the throne of grace burdened with 1,000 distracting thoughts, each of which seems to engage more of my attention than the business in hand. To complete the riddle, I would add that, despite all these complaints, which seem large enough to prevent my hope and to plunge me in despair, I have peace at the bottom. I see, I know, I cannot deny that he is all sufficient, that he can and does have compassion on me and help me, unworthy as I am. Even though I rarely enjoy a glimpse of sunshine, I'm not wholly in the dark. My heart is vile, and even my prayers are sinful. I wish I could mourn more, but the Lord forbid that I should sorrow in the same way as those who have no hope. He is able to save to the uttermost. Hebrews 7:25. His blood speaks louder than all my sins. My soul is very sick, but my physician is infallible. He never turns away anyone as incurable once he has taken charge of their case. That would be to the dishonour both of his skill and his compassion. Had he been willing that I should perish, he would not have performed a miracle, for I count it as nothing less than to save me from sinking into the great deep when he first put it in my heart to cry to him for mercy. And oh, what astonishing goodness has followed me from that day to this. Help me to praise him, and may he help you to proclaim the glory of his salvation and to rejoice in it yourself. Well, I hope you've enjoyed these notes, if you like, from John Newton, updated into modern English. Wherever you're listening to this or watching this, please like and subscribe. I never remember to say that, but I did just then. Please also consider sharing this with other people. And if you would like to read more John Newton, follow the links to Substack, where there are other links to other quotes, but also you can obtain Amazing Grace, How Faith Grows in the Human Heart, which is really basically, predominantly anyway, an anthology of John Newton's writings updated into modern English. It's a work in progress, but you can get it to the extent to which it is now ready. So thank you for listening, and I'll be back to other things. But this interview should be the next podcast.